So let's get into it right now, ladies and gentlemen, with MaNa up 1-0 over Axslav. Now, Axslav really surprised me because he has known to be the standard style Protoss in the North American scene, I want to say. He's always been that player that likes to play towards that end game, likes to play that positional game, but he goes and throws in the Dark Templars first thing. And you can see that as sort of a cheese, too. It's basically saying, I'm going to play a little bit unsafer than you, MaNa, and
it's really risky
try to roll the dice.
Because if MaNa went for an I mean, he saw that MaNa was going for a defensive defensive 3-stalker 4-gate kind of variation, and Axslav was going for 3-gate but into Dark Templar, so he was trying to really deceive MaNa, but he used his gas advantage into Dark Templars instead. And I felt like it was just a little bit too much risk, especially because of how he was moving his stalkers. And you can see MaNa was setting up great traps with the stalkers and getting some extra hits in and really baiting Axslav more than what he needed to do.
Yeah, still, I love what you mentioned about the defensive 3-stalker 4-gate. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times 4-gate, when we see that, it is with a single zealot and then 1 or 2 stalkers, depending on your variation of 4-gate. Normally it is 2 stalkers, though. But going 3 stalkers, what it aims to do is catch the first probe when your opponent is going 4-gate, and then 4-gate yourself so you still keep up in units. And then you have that extra stalker or whatever it might be, and you're really, really strong when the engagement actually happens. So I guess Axslav read that, said, okay, you're going defensive 4-gate, I'm going to try to do my Dark Templar. So in that theory, I guess it was theoretically correct, or at least a good assumption, but it didn't work out for Axslav.
Yeah, it didn't work out at all, which is quite unfortunate, but again, Axslav has his map choice. This is Shattered Temple. Now, Shattered Temple is, of course, the revamped version of Lost Temple. I remember back in the day, we just saw non-stop 4-gates PvP on this, especially Korean 4-gates, how big the main was, but that was before the Warp Gate nerf, so a lot of things has changed. Axslav and MaNa are pretty much mirroring each other, but Axslav once again goes for a quicker second gas, and this time MaNa chooses to go for a fast zealot. Oh, no, he cancels it, actually.
Not only that, MaNa chooses to scout. That's a little different from last game.
Yeah.
Shattered Temple on the NASL version is forced cross position. That's why both these players just went directly for each other's bases. We have this nice little, I want to say, the Matrix from Transformers. Maybe a Pokeball right in the middle.
Yeah. Oh.
Actually, it looks like a Pokeball, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. If you press it, I guess it's supposed to get bigger than that. Be pretty cool. Actually, I really wish like that kind of technology would be so cool, man. Like, you know how in Dragon Ball Z, where they like every little pill would explode into like a giant spaceship, and like in Pokemon, Pokeballs would expand. Eventually, one day the technology would be there where you just bring around a little piece, a microchip, and you push it, and it turns into a laptop. You can play StarCraft 4.
I would love to capture you in a Pokeball. Just put you up. It's like I Dream of Genie, except instead of
don't put me in your weird fantasies, Andre. We do see that Axslav is scouting here with his stalker.
VM, yeah.
He's actually going for a robotics transition while MaNa is placing 3 more gates. Now MaNa does have 2 gases, but he's not really mining from it, and it could be a second gas fake here for MaNa.
It's really important to throw in these 4 gates in maps like the Shattered Temple, with a ramp, I should say. Antigua Shipyard, Metalopolis, Lost Temple, Metropolis, all of the ramps, all of the maps with ramps like this, the tiny little ones with only a single force field. And it's because you want to keep your opponent honest. You don't want them to be doing something crazy like what Axslav is doing. And Axslav honestly is in a position where he could very well lose to just a straight up 4-gate.
Looks like he's pulling some of his probes here, trying to see if he can get the surround on the stalker.
Oh, no.
Now it looks like MaNa got a little bit careless. He's trying to see if he can warp on top of the ramp. He doesn't have exact vision there. The probe also gets caught, so Axslav does manage to pick that off. Will MaNa be able to get the warp and he needs? He's going to warp it on the low ground instead.
Okay, he does have 2 sentries out. It will buy him a little bit of time. Should force shield that off. Very nice job. And now his main priority is to actually remove that pylon. If he could remove that pylon, that'll be a pretty critical move in defending this. He needs to wait until a single Immortal is out. Once the Immortal pops, he will be in a really great position.
Oh man, Axslav actually got a little bit careless. He's left 1 stalker back in his mineral line. He could have been taking that pylon way sooner. MaNa, he is transitioning by getting a Robotics. And he does have second gas that's been having one probe harvest from it, so he's not terribly behind in the gas count. But Axslav, look at this. He's expanding.
Love this play. You know, I've been I've been fussing with PvP a little bit, and I do this build, right? It's the greatest build, Frodan. Let me explain it to you.
So much.
Let me explain it to you. You go no warp gates. Instead, you use that money and gas to get a fast robo. Okay? A lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, I'm going to 4-gate you and beat you. No. No. I have my sentries. Yeah. I just protect my ramp, get my immortals. And then once you have Sentry Immortal, you're actually almost invincible in the beginning phase.
Yeah, you can't die to anything, really.
It feels so strong, especially with the amount of sentries that that Axslav has. Now, the main thing that you're concerned with is, of course, Colossus. You're like, Colossus just craps all over these sentries. But you know your opponent just did a failed 4-gate, or at least a failed 3-gate to what Axslav sees. He only saw 3 Stalkers warp in. So he's really comfortable. He's saying, okay, I know you went gateway heavy in the beginning. I know you can't get Colossus pretty fast. This is a really safe expansion.
Oh, wow. I don't think we caught it there, but both observers were actually sniped at the same exact time due to the Stalker hits. And that was actually a really cool play. Both players trying to disable each other's vision. Axslav does have a considerable amount of supply advantage, but keep in mind that some of it is in workers and a lot because he has that extra Immortal, which is a big chunk of that supply. As a result, he has more map control. MaNa can't actually move out here as he is starting to get he's starting to chrono boost his Robotics to get Immortal out, but he's pretty behind at this point.
This is a 1 base all in. You can see Blink is on the way and Immortal as well. So I think what MaNa is trying to do is just trade the Immortals out somehow or another. Make sure that, you know, Axslav doesn't really have Immortals to really do anything against those Blink Stalkers. Once that happens, it's Blink Stalkers versus non-Blink Stalkers. Axslav's in a great position. We'll see if that actually happens, because pretty soon Axslav, right here, this is probably one of the game-winning moves. And that sounds weird, but identifying your opponent isn't going for that natural expansion. Yep. You're saying, okay, he's all in. He's one base. One base, all in. Thank you.
And it's important because Axslav, right now, he's scurrying also for proxy pylons, and he sees it with his probe. And
that's amazing.
So, MaNa, he catches that. In fact, that probe wasn't really intending to scout it either. I think MaNa put it straight in the side.
Really well played by Axslav. He's on top of everything. Yeah. He's looking really good this game. If only he went Blink, he would be able to neutralize his opponent's advantage. But still, I think just the sheer number of units will be enough to be enough. Oh,
Axslav even scouts the probe movement. He sees yet another pylon. Axslav playing very, very well and thorough. As you see his observers also on hot retreat, trying to escape the vision of that other observer, but MaNa is going to be able to snipe that. And again, denying vision is very key just to keep your opponent in the dark.
Yep, but at this point, Axslav already knows he has a gigantic advantage. I mean, he shouldn't think otherwise. He knows his opponent hasn't gone for a Nexus in quite a long time. This first Stalker will be picked off by Axslav. Nope, it won't. I lied. Oh, yep, it will.
I mean, at this point, Axslav has to keep all the units he can. He's engaging out here. He has 4 Immortals in force fields, and we do see the Stalkers blinking forward, but if the Immortals engage properly, they should be able to wipe out the remainder of the army. MaNa coming in with reinforcements, but some are caught behind the bushes, unable to engage. The force fields are starting to clear, and Axslav is still 10 supply ahead. As long as he can maintain it, he'll be in good shape. MaNa does blink back. Now, he does have an observer, which he could play some good tricks in terms of blinking forward, but with 3 Immortals, Axslav is in a great defensive position.
Great force fields right here, and now the engagement will again continue on, but the Immortal gets picked off from MaNa, so unfortunate for him, those sentries will pop on the Guardian Shield. It gets instantly burst, and there you have Axslav will come out on top with those 3 Immortals. You know, it doesn't really matter how many Stalkers you have off of one base. When I have 3 Immortals out, nothing can kill me, it feels like. As long as I have those buffers like Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries, etc., I am A-okay. It doesn't matter. I can always engage as long as you don't get picked off like this. Ah!
Oh, some of his units are trying to get sniped, but Axslav does manage to run away just in the same time. And MaNa retreating. What is his follow-up plan, his contingency plan? He's just making more Immortals and some Zealots and Sentries, so he's falling back. But I mean, if you were in MaNa's position, what would you recommend he do?
It's really tough at this point. I don't think there's many options. What he's trying to do is just keep on the pressure, and hopefully MaNa will be able to just crumble the defenses of Axslav. But with 4 Immortals out, this is just a snowball effect. Axslav just maintains his advantage the whole time. He's getting Blink, which will negate the advantage that MaNa has currently, and it's just a ticking time bomb. It's all comes down to that Blink, but maybe even before that.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes 4 shots for Immortal to kill a Stalker, and that is very much one-sided fight. And Axslav has 5 Immortals now into the fight, as MaNa basically only has 1 Immortal. We see a retreat attempt again from MaNa. Axslav 97 to 64. Axslav can taste a victory. He just has to play really cautious. He doesn't want to overcommit. It's so easy to lose your army in PvP because, you know, when he sees only 1 Immortal left, he says, well, is he, you know, going back to Colossus or something? So he's falling back just to make extra certain so he can get a good warp in. But MaNa is going to meet him halfway here. MaNa trying to engage, but again, with 5 Immortals and a Stalker advantage, Axslav is pushing forward to victory.
It looks like Blink is just about to finish, but it doesn't even matter. I mean, with 5 Immortals, I've said it, I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. 5 Immortals, you can do anything against Blink Stalkers. That's just how it is.
And Axslav has Blink too, so he's going to be able to force his way in here. He's waiting for that upgrade, and Axslav with double the supply advantage virtually, he's going to be able to really force his way up the ramp if he wanted to. Axslav actually moves back.
Okay, so Frodan, going back to my build, I only go Immortals and Void Rays.
And Sentries.
And Sentries, and then a Mothership.
Only those units. Now
only those units.
And it's funny because you're like, oh yeah, he's probably playing like Diamond people.
No,
like,
I'm playing Top Masters.
He's actually like higher MMR than his actual account, which is really funny about that. And that makes me so max. I'm so bad at PvP. And Axslav, he's blinking forward here, showing how strong his PvP is. And he's being very, very cautious, but at the same time, well, he's teching actually to Robotics Bay.
Yeah, Colossus inbound. Wow. Along with that, we do have a War Prism out on the field currently. Units tab is showing that 1 War Prism, but MaNa's just, he's being so Hasselhoff about this.
Yeah, he refused to leave the game. As you see another force field, now Axslav, you have Blink, man. You can go on top of the ramp. You seize the unit advantage with his Observer, and he's still not moving in. In fact, he's sending his Sentry to be the tribute of the army. We finally see another force field, a Blink, but only half the meat. That's all he's going to really need, as the Immortals are pretty much out of the fight. This is the perfect engage for MaNa if he had enough units to defend, but with the Stalker advantage, Axslav blinking backwards, MaNa's supply is dropping, and he can't really hold off this push any longer.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Axslav will move into the base and crumble the forces of MaNa. GG gets called out.
Great job there by Nick, as he's able to take game number 2 and even the series. Axslav showing a lot of life here.
Stopping the 4-gate was pretty instrumental, then reading that he has a nice advantage. Sentry, Immortal, as I was talking about before, really, really strong against anything gateway-oriented when you're, well, obviously you've gotten a much faster robotics facility. So great job by Axslav, and a great win.
All came down to holding off that 4-gate, very, very key. And you know, MaNa, he tried to force his way up, but was not able to get the vision. He got the Stalker up the ramp, and then Axslav was able to chase it down. And from there, Axslav just rode his advantage to victory.